Dark humor has a unique and controversial place in entertainment. It finds comedy in disturbing, taboo, and uncomfortable subjects. And when it comes to TV series that masterfully employ this type of humor, The Boys stands out as a prime example. This superhero satire is a wild ride from start to finish. Despite its dark themes, or maybe because of them, The Boys managed to attract a huge fanbase and even evolve into a successful franchise. Both Gen V and The Boys Presents Diabolical continue to explore and expand the show's universe with the same signature dark humor. Today we'll discuss why people are drawn to the dark humor of The Boys. In other words, what makes this show so special? First of all, The Boys of course stands out for its innovative approach to the superhero genre. As we all know, traditionally, superhero movies glorify noble, heroic characters who stand for justice and fight to protect the innocent. But the show flips this trope on its head. In this world, we see superheroes who are emotionally unstable egomaniacs with crooked morals, drug addictions, and deadly mommy issues. This subversion plays against our expectations and creates humor through the contrast between appearance and reality. The showrunner Eric Kripke says that The Boys and its spin-offs are not really about superheroes. They have the suits and powers, but The Boys is a show about celebrity politics and late-stage capitalism. Here, dark humor is used as a key element to deconstruct the genre. It underscores the absurdities of the genre's conventions and offers a fresh and bold take that resonates with audiences tired of predictable narratives. Characters like Homelander, who present themselves as the ultimate American superheroes, are revealed to be sociopaths with a god complex, who are driven by a desire for power and control. This contrast creates a form of cognitive dissonance that is often resolved through laughter. The show is not afraid to tackle taboo subjects and push boundaries, which sets it apart from other superhero media. Scenes that might be considered too controversial or offensive in other contexts are presented with a darkly comedic twist, challenging viewers to think critically about the genre and its cultural implications. When the show was released, it felt like something completely new. In a world oversaturated with do-good heroes dominated by long-running fan-favorite comic franchises, it's refreshing to see what it would be like if those same powers ended up in the wrong hands. As we can see, it would be truly terrifying. The Boys uses dark humor as a sharp tool to critique and reflect the flaws of our modern society. The show offers us a satirical lens through which we can explore the problems of celebrity culture, politics, and corporate greed. Vote International, the corporation managing superheroes in this universe, aka Soups, is a clear critique of real-world corporations and their unethical practices. The marketing campaigns featuring Soups include ridiculous product advertisements, acting as a satire of the ads we've all seen before. For instance, A-Train's energy drink commercial is a perfect parody of Pepsi's infamous Live for Now ad, where tensions between a protest movement and law enforcement are humorously resolved by handing an officer a drink. This commercial faced immense backlash for its tone-deaf celebrity casting and misuse of protest imagery, leading to a public apology from Pepsi. The humor here mostly comes from exaggerating the problems to an absurd level. Characters like Homelander can accidentally kill innocent bystanders during their so-called heroic actions without facing any consequences, as Vote covers it up with a PR spin.
Well, PR is drafting a response as we speak. Acknowledgement, apology, action.
No. Apology? No.
Environmental activism also takes a hit. We see the Deep rescuing a dolphin only to accidentally launch it through a car windshield. This humor has two major effects on us. Firstly, it validates our critiques of societal problems. It reassures us that our perceptions and frustrations are shared and acknowledged. We feel less alone in our views. And secondly, the exaggerated depictions of these issues let us laugh at their absurdities, which in turn makes us feel more empowered and less discouraged. I know, many things in the show look quite ridiculous and over the top. And if you ask me, I personally don't really like this type of humor humor. But I can for sure see and appreciate the show's smart approach. By amplifying everything to hyperbolic extremes, the show creates a distorted mirror that highlights flaws we're all so familiar with. Much like Black Mirror, for example, but with more attention to absurdity, over-the-top scenarios, and parodies. The parallels between The Boys and real-life events can be strikingly literal. For instance, when the first episodes of the 4th season came out, former President Donald Trump was facing trial. And what do you know, in the plot of The Boys, Homelander, who is often seen as a parody of Trump, was also facing trial. This is what Eric Kripke, the showrunner, had to say about it. Did I know it was going to come out during Trump's trial? Of course not. But we write what we're either scared of or pissed off about. Someone asked me last year about season 3. How are you so prescient with cops and over-policing in black neighborhoods? Well, it's been a problem for over 100 years. It was a problem 5 years ago, and unfortunately, it's going to be a problem 5 years from now. It's always the same shit. This is also a quick reminder that if you're enjoying this video so far, please make sure to hit that like button. It really helps me out as a small YouTuber, because if you give it a thumbs up, it tells the YouTube algorithm that I make decent videos and helps me grow. And overall, if you like learning more about movies, TV shows, and animation, please make sure to hit that subscribe button as well. But back to The Boys. Dark humor in The Boys offers a unique form of stress relief by allowing us, as viewers, to process our frustrations and anxieties about the world through laughter. We already briefly discussed it before, but I really want to focus on it a bit more, because I really believe that this is a very important effect. The show's unapologetic and often brutal approach to sensitive topics creates a space for us to confront and release our pent-up emotions. In a society where many feel powerless against systemic issues, the irreverence and audacity of The Boys provide a much-needed emotional release. One psychological explanation for the appeal of dark humor is the benign violation theory. According to this theory, humor arises when and only when 3 conditions are satisfied. Number 1, a situation is perceived as a violation, something that threatens one's sense of how the world ought to be. Number 2, the situation is benign, meaning not harmful. The situation is safe or acceptable in some way. And number 3, both perceptions occur simultaneously. So, for humor to happen, there needs to be a balance between these 2 elements. The simplest examples would be play fighting and tickling. These are benign violations because they are physically threatening but harmless attacks that make you laugh. The Boys frequently places its characters in situations that violate societal norms and moral boundaries, such as superheroes engaging in reckless and criminal behavior. Yet at the same time, the show presents these scenarios in an exaggerated and surreal way, making them less threatening and more humorous, thus making them benign violations. This is what allows us to laugh at the absurdity of the situations we see on the screen. For example, the character of The Deep, a parody of Aquaman, is initially introduced as a morally bankrupt individual who engages in sexual misconduct. His subsequent fall from grace and the absurdity of his attempts at redemption provide humor that both acknowledges the seriousness of his actions and diminishes their impact by making them ridiculous.
You are so...
This blend of dark humor and exaggerated scenarios help us confront uncomfortable realities in a way that feels safe and manageable. The laughter acts as a coping mechanism here. It helps us process and reflect on these harsh realities without becoming overwhelmed. The extreme scenarios and characters can also provide an adrenaline rush for viewers. These characters' outrageous actions and the dark humor that accompanies them offer a way for us to explore our own dark impulses in a safe and fictional context. I know that this humor might seem too intense and almost crazy for a lot of people, and it certainly felt that way for me when I watched the show for the first time. I watched it together with my boyfriend, his sister, and her boyfriend. And I remember that my boyfriend's sister and I felt rather uncomfortable. The whole thing seemed just really weird, almost like disgusting on a physical level. I was like, how can someone find this explosive diarrhea scene or the dolphin incident funny? I mean, it's really messed up. And at the same time, our boyfriends were laughing hysterically. My boyfriend just couldn't stop crying from laughter. I was looking at him thinking like, is something wrong with you or... But from a therapeutic standpoint, dark humor does not signify a crooked mind. Rather, it is seen as an effective coping strategy to deal deal with anxiety and defend oneself from being entrapped in negative feelings. And since dark humor is something that I had to learn to understand, discovering the cathartic release in this type of comedy helped me a lot. And I hope it explains some things to you as well. Even if you're like my boyfriend and already found the show extremely funny from the very beginning. Quoting the showrunner Eric Kripke, the show is many things. Subtle isn't one of them. The Boys leverages shock value to create humor, often pushing the boundaries of what is typically shown in mainstream media. The graphic violence, explicit content, and audacious scenarios are designed to shock and surprise viewers. The series doesn't shy away from depicting sexual situations, drug use, and other taboo subjects, often presenting them in an exaggerated, almost caricatured manner. By confronting these subjects head-on, the show challenges societal norms and encourages viewers to question their own boundaries and sensibilities. This shock factor is a significant part of the show's appeal, as it again differentiates The Boys from other superhero stories that tend to be more sanitized and family-friendly. The unpredictability of the show creates a sense of excitement and anticipation. Audiences are drawn to the thrill of seeing how far the show will go, and the humor helps to reduce the potential discomfort caused by the graphic and shocking content. For example, the show frequently plays with the idea of collateral damage caused by superhero actions, often depicting it in a darkly comedic light. Scenes like the gruesome consequences of A-Train's high-speed collision with a civilian or the disastrous results of poorly planned superhero interventions are both shocking and absurdly funny. This blend of horror and humor challenges our perceptions and keeps us engaged, as we never quite know what to expect next. Eric Kripke also said that, "Look, I'm a big proponent of genre. Good genre which doesn't get enough respect. Through the metaphor of superheroes or space or whatever, you can say subversive things that you'd never get away with in most straight dramas. Turning dark topics into humor isn't just a skill, it's like a twisted superpower. I think even the biggest skeptics can agree on that. But what do you think? Do you agree with me, and do you have any other points that I missed? And also, do you remember your first emotions when you just watched the show? I'm really curious, so let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, I think you will also like the ones you see on your screens now. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more movie and TV analysis. I'll talk to you soon. Пока-пока!